And time now for our weekly arts and culture segment. That means we have our culture correspondent Song Yoo-jin in the studio with us. Welcome, Yoo-jin.
Happy Friday, Eunji.
So, Yoo-jin, what do you have for us today?
Well, Eunji, I'm sure you've heard of this popular saying in Korea, which is food is medicine. And I think that temple food is one example, which is a cuisine that's steeped in mindfulness, simplicity, and centuries of care. And actually, temple food is on track to being recognized as part of the nation's cultural legacy. Here's the full story. Grinding, chopping, boiling. Here, cooking is more than just technique. It's meditation in motion. These colorful ingredients are being transformed into Korean temple cuisine. Soybean soup, cucumber kimchi, and wild greens over noodles. Each dish reflects core Buddhist values, respect for life, and a ban on 5 pungent vegetables believed to disturb inner peace.
I've learned so much, not just about recipes, but about food itself. I used to think vegetarian dishes lacked flavor, but temple food is delicious. It feels light, comforting, and good for your health.
I never really knew how to cook with wild greens, but now I finally understand how to use ingredients I've always seen at the market.
And Korean temple food, like this, has finally received the recognition it deserves. Because last month, the Korea Heritage Service announced plans to designate it as a national intangible cultural heritage, literally food for thought. The agency cited the cuisine's historical continuity, cultural uniqueness, and its ability to evolve with the times. Since the introduction of Buddhism to ancient Korea during the Three Kingdoms period, temple food has been passed down through generations.
In Northeast Asia, especially Korea, monks have traditionally farmed, foraged, and cooked their meals, creating a distinct culinary tradition. Korean temple food centers not only on vegetables and grains, but also on fermented foods like jang and kimchi. That's why it's increasingly seen as both nourishing and in harmony with nature.
Because temple cuisine has long been practiced across Korea, the cultural core of Korean Buddhism spent years systematizing its philosophy, core ingredients, and preparation methods. The upcoming heritage designation is the result of that effort. And next, the Buddhist community is setting its sights on a larger goal, becoming a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. A tradition that treats food as medicine and the body as a temple, now preparing to take its place on the global stage.
So, Yoo-jin, let's start with the big question. When will the Korea Heritage Service announce its final decision?
Right, so the Korea Heritage Service, or KHS in short, it must make and announce its final decision within 30 days since its initial designation notice. And I want to mention that during this period, the agency gathers feedback both from the public via its official website and from industry insiders in related fields. And the final evaluation is made by the National Intangible Cultural Heritage Committee. And since the announcement was made on March 21st, we can expect the official results sometime next week.
Right, and let's go over and take a closer look at Korea's temple food culture. And you visited some cooking classes related to that. What was that like?
Well, so the first class that I was visited was more of a hobby level, so it was open to a wide range of applicants, for example, those in their 20s and also those in their 50s and 60s. But the second class that was featured in my report, it was more of a more specialized class because this class was prepping participants for the Korean Temple Food Specialist Certification, which is an exam that is held twice a year. Now, over 500 people have passed this exam since it was first introduced in 2015, and it includes both written and practical exams, and many of the students there were motivated by health reasons or had plans to turn their training into a business, especially as demand for temple food continues to grow globally.
Right, and it's interesting how they have an official certificate for these temple food chefs, and it seems like the interest is spreading globally.
Right.
And for our viewers overseas, is there any way they can enjoy these type of food?
Well, I asked that same question to the cultural core of Korean Buddhism, and they said that they have been and they have plans to work with overseas Korean cultural centers to offer lectures and cooking classes. So our viewers might want to check that out. And if you're actually planning to visit Korea anytime soon, I highly recommend stopping by the Korean Temple Food Center and the Institute of Korean Temple Cuisine, 향적세계, both near Anguk Station on Line 3, because there you can explore the history of Korean temple food and even try making some dishes yourself. And good news is that both institutions offer English language websites.
All right. Thank you for your report today, Yoo-jin, as always.
It was a pleasure.